WWE Executive Chairman Vince McMahon was reportedly backstage at Monday Night Raw last night and made several changes to the show, which were reportedly well received by some. Details on that, plus the Bloodline continues to do huge numbers after Friday's night's episode of SmackDown, including huge numbers on social media. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. Let's talk a little bit about Vince McMahon. Yes, Vince McMahon, for the first time since the Raw after WrestleMania 39, was backstage at a television taping for World Wrestling Entertainment last night. Vince McMahon was reportedly in attendance last night at Monday Night Raw, as it came to us live from Hartford, Connecticut, per PW Insider. While his presence may not be too surprising, considering that WWE headquarters is located roughly 80 miles away in Stamford, Connecticut. As I mentioned, it was the first time the executive chairman had been physically present for Monday Night Raw since the infamous Monday night after WrestleMania 39 on April 3rd earlier this year. There were many changes made with McMahon around that night, leaving morale relatively low, and heading into Raw last night, it was certainly interesting to monitor whether or not any changes were being made hastily to the broadcast that evening. We'll get into that in just a second. Obviously, we had the World Heavyweight Championship match last night, Money in the Bank qualifying matches, Miz TV with Cody Rhodes, obviously a continuation of the Brock Lesnar storyline as well. So Vince McMahon, as I mentioned, was in Monday Night Raw in Hartford, Connecticut last night. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, throughout the afternoon, there were rumblings among talent that Vince McMahon would indeed be at the show. As of around 6 p.m. Eastern, many of the talent and staff hadn't seen McMahon, but did see a room being prepared for someone to work out of. That, of course, ended up being an office for the aforementioned Vince. PW Insider reported shortly after 6:30 Eastern Time that Vince McMahon was indeed backstage at Raw. Most of the staff and talent in attendance were not surprised by this, as I mentioned, because Hartford is a fairly short trip from where Vince McMahon lives, and most do not expect him to regularly be backstage, as he's been fine making changes remotely in recent weeks. For the June 5th show, however, Vince McMahon reportedly, again last night at Raw, was in the gorilla position himself, where he was for WrestleMania weekend. Of late, Vince McMahon has been calling in the changes, sometimes very close to the show. This has caused late rundowns to be passed out, and sub-segments and matches to be cancelled and nixed altogether. Now, Fightful haven't heard of anything out of the ordinary. They were told that the mood was much less hectic at the Hartford Raw than the Raw after WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles. Aside from that, internal reports have indicated that the Raw in Hartford was the highest grossing Raw/SmackDown in the history of the market for WWE, which is kind of par for the course at this point for several shows. They've been doing that pretty much everywhere they've been for the last year or so. Now, quite an interesting update came to this report initially from Sean Ross Sapp. So that report came out saying that Vince was there, he was backstage, he was in the gorilla position, he was there, and he was making some changes, not necessarily sweeping changes, it wasn't certainly chaotic like it was after WrestleMania. But since that report came out, Fightful have also reported that they've learned that Vince changed a significant part of the show just a couple of hours before it went on the air. But the event ended up being very positively received. So I guess the interesting question now, and you can let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below, if it's positively received, does that kind of mean that the chaos was worth it? And there's been this kind of discussion point, hasn't there, that if something bad happens on WWE TV, it's Vince McMahon's fault. But last night, Raw was okay. So should Vince McMahon be praised for that if the television program was good? What are your thoughts about it? Let me know your thoughts on that and Vince being backstage in the comment section below. As far as ratings for last night's episode of Monday Night Raw on USA Network, per Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, Raw drew 1.828 million viewers, which is up from the May 29 edition that drew 1.611 million viewers. This is the highest total viewership for the program since, ironically enough, the post-WrestleMania 39 episode on April 3rd, which was the last episode that Vince McMahon was there for. Is that a coincidence? Do you think Vince being backstage leads to high ratings? What are your thoughts on that? Is it just a coincidence, or should we read something more into that one? In terms of the 18 to 49 demographic, Monday's show scored a 0.56 rating. This is also up from the week prior that scored a 0.52 rating. This is the highest demo rating for the show since the May 15 episode. As I mentioned, the show featured Seth freaking Rollins defeating Damian Priest to retain the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event. Also, Gunther defeated Kevin Owens in a non-title match. Also, Cody Rhodes was confronted by Dominic Mysterio during an episode of Miz TV. So what are your thoughts on the ratings as well? And what are your thoughts on Vince McMahon being there? And with Vince McMahon being there, the ratings have once again risen for Monday Night Raw. Certainly interesting. Now, we spoke yesterday about the Bloodline delivering those huge numbers, huge ratings for WWE on Fox, with the highest viewership, or highest key demo rating rather, since Christmas night of December 2020, over 2 years ago. And the Roman Reigns segment, the final segment of the show that ran nearly 20 minutes, was viewed at a peak of close to 3 million viewers. Now, the ongoing Bloodline saga is a rare instance of a pro wrestling storyline that is just as creatively satisfying as it is financially rewarding, as fans and wrestlers continue to sing praises of the twists and turns in the storyline's plot. WWE has seen tangible results in the form of a massive spike in television ratings and live events attendance. Furthermore, the moment when Solo Sikoa did the unthinkable by attacking his own brother Jimmy Uso has already garnered over 40 million views across social media and YouTube, making it the most socially watched segment of 2023 according to WWE. Rikishi, whose three sons are integral cogs in the critically acclaimed storyline, is clearly a proud papa. Quote, "The Bloodline," or blood emoji, point to the sky emoji, "is good for business. Hashtag Bloodline numbers don't lie. WWE Universe has spoken," Rikishi wrote on Twitter, reacting to the staggering figures released by WWE. The storyline continues this Friday on SmackDown, where Jey Uso is expected to choose his allegiance between his twin Jimmy or the rest of the Roman Reigns-led Bloodline. As reported earlier, Paul Heyman has issued an ultimatum to Jey on this week's edition of Monday Night Raw, making it clear that Jey has to pick a side or suffer the same fate as his twin, who received a Samoan spike from Solo Sikoa for refusing to acknowledge the tribal chief this past Friday. If Jey were to cross Reigns and Sikoa, fans believe WWE could be setting up an Usos versus Reigns and Sikoa tag team bout for the upcoming Money in the Bank premium live event in London, England. Reigns is reportedly scheduled to wrestle at both Money in the Bank and SummerSlam this summer, not to mention appearing at several televised events, meaning fans are almost guaranteed to be treated to a steady progression of the Bloodline saga over the summer. So what are your thoughts, as I mentioned, on these huge numbers that the Bloodline continue to achieve for WWE? What are your thoughts on the storyline? And as we spoke about yesterday, how long can this storyline go on for? Can we see a huge and lengthy continuation of the Bloodline story in WWE's television product at the moment? And given the success that WWE is having with the ratings, with merchandise, with live attendance figures, would they be silly to take the championships, or the title now, I guess now it's merged into one, off Roman Reigns? What are your thoughts on all of it? As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But there you go, guys. This latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember, you can join the WN365 roster page. All you have to do is click that join button. We are doing a Monday Night Wars rewatch series, watching every single episode of WWE Monday Night Raw and WCW Monday Nitro in chronological order to see what really happened in the Monday Night Wars. No more of this documentary BS. What actually happened? We've already done the premiere episode of WCW Monday Nitro. This week, we've got our first head-to-head of Raw and Nitro as well. So we're going to be watching both episodes if you are a member of the WN365 roster. Have a great Tuesday evening, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.